So, Sir Lewis Hamilton, a man who had a very mixed weekend at Spa to say the very least. In qualifying, sprint qualifying and the sprint race, he was absolutely nowhere. He made mistakes in both regular qualifying and the sprint qualifying as well. That sent him out in SQ1 and Q1. He was right at the back of the grid for both races. However, during the Grand Prix race, Hamilton was seriously impressive. He made up 11 places, I think it was, to go all the way from P18 to P7 by the finish. It could have been more. It potentially could have been more. You know, he was right on the back of Alex Albon, but could not get past the Williams man. Someone who's very much been a thorn in his side so far this season. But very encouraging for Hamilton. Very encouraging from him to have a pace that was very competitive and really not that far off Charles Leclerc if you think about it in terms of his overall race pace. Obviously quite a few places back. Leclerc was impressive too, getting a podium place. Ferrari's upgrades seem to be working. And it very much is an optimistic time for Hamilton right now. Of course, we're going into the Hungarian Grand Prix this weekend, which is one that he's won like, 8 times or something like that. He's always racing well around there. Can he get his first podium for Ferrari that's not a sprint podium or a sprint win or anything like that? We'll have to wait and see. But let's have a look at what he's been saying here, because he's been very talkative off the track. His comments during the race and during qualifying and everything, very interesting. But what he's been saying off the track as well, also fascinating. And I got a full article here on the F1Chronicle.com going through exactly that for you guys. So let's dive in. Lewis Hamilton salvaged an eye-catching result at Spa after a disastrous early weekend with Ferrari, but his voice may have been even louder off track. The 7-time world champion charged from the back to finish 7th in a wet Belgian Grand Prix, despite struggles with Ferrari's updated rear suspension, which teammate Charles Leclerc mastered to finish on the podium. I'm very relieved that I was able to perform in the race as I expected from myself. The first 2 days here were poor, but luckily the third made up for that disappointment a little. I grew up in the rain and learned to love racing on wet tracks. I swear I heard a story actually as well that during his karting days, Hamilton couldn't afford to have wet tyres, so he used to drive on a wet track with dry tyres. I think Jenson Button might have done something similar as well. So yeah, he's always been good in the wet, has Hamilton. Team boss Frederic Vasseur hailed the 40-year-old's aggressive drive but joked about the final stint. I think we could have driven the 24 hours of Spa and still been behind Alex Albon. Hamilton, who apologised publicly after qualifying, continued to take responsibility. I'd like to apologise again to the fans, but I'm in good spirits. We scored a lot of points, especially against Mercedes, and I've gained a better understanding of all the improvements to the Ferrari. The result came amid a more personal weekend for Hamilton, who posted a series of Instagram stories about the crisis in Gaza. Yes, guys, that's what we're talking about today. Don't worry. We're not going to dwell on it. We're not going to go too in-depth with that. Calling for a ceasefire and amplifying the voices of UNICEF, the World Food Programme and medical aid charities. Hamilton said, "The silence and lack of action from the international community will be judged by future generations. Those in power must do everything they can to end this suffering, and they must do it now." Speaking to RTBF, Hamilton reflected on the magnitude of driving for Ferrari. "I love being in red. I still have to pinch myself. And I'm thinking, I drive Ferrari. I still have to pinch myself. I think, I'm driving for Ferrari. It's phenomenal." But then he gets in the car and things change. Now, I'm just being cynical. He said the move has been more intense than expected. I was expecting the energy, but it's even more intense than I imagined. Hamilton also opened up about the personal cost of his career, saying he had made a conscious decision to focus solely on performance. "I don't want to have any regrets. For the last 10 years, I focused on my health, my well-being, my mental health, my driving technique. But being quiet is not in his nature. I'm sometimes told, shut up and drive, but that's not me," said the Briton. Did Rihanna used to say that to him when they were allegedly dating? Sorry, come on. This is a serious issue. "I drive, yes, but I also do more. I can get into the right rooms and have difficult conversations. That's how I'm made." You know, love him or loathe him, he's always talking about this kind of stuff. He's always talking about issues in the world and issues in Formula One that a lot of people either don't care about or people just don't have the kind of minerals to speak about, really. And, you know, fair play to him in that regard. At least he's standing up for what he believes in, you know. So yeah, I'm not going to get into the whole Gaza thing. Don't worry, guys. We're not going to do that here. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. People say that you should keep politics out of sport, but politics and sport, they are entwined. Whether you like it or not, there is always that link there between them. So, should sport and politics mix? Do they mix? Do we have a choice? Your thoughts in the comments below. Like, share, comment, subscribe as always, guys. Have a fantastic day wherever in the world today, and we'll see you very soon.